Thanks, Amy. Hi, I'm Laura Fredericks, class of '08 at Georgetown. Since graduating from Georgetown, I've been a founder a few times and been a head of marketing for a couple of startups. And then most recently, I've been helping Series A and B startups as a fractional CMO. Nyasha was so great to work with. He is creating a digital payment solution addressing the problem of transportation payments in East Africa. We both Stacy and I think really enjoyed working with Nyasha and seeing him go through the process of really figuring out where he was going to serve as his first target market. So that's where we tried to help him focus. He did a ton of research. He was super persistent and resilient throughout that process. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about how he came up with the market that he's going after and how he figured out that this was the problem that he wanted to solve. I'm so proud of the work that he did and the research skills really that he put into this so that he could figure out how to grow Tese and where to grow Tese. He's shown himself to be persistent, smart, willing to put in the work. And I know that he just started a full-time job, but hopefully in his spare time, he's able to take some minutes and continue learning and continue expanding with Tese. So without any further ado, Nyasha, founder of Tese.
Hello, thank you, Laura. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. My name is Nyasha, and as Laura was just saying, I just graduated from Georgetown. I was majoring in finance, operations and analytics, and I had a minor in economics. Now, in case you're curious, my accent was largely cooked in the Southern African country of Zimbabwe. And today I'm going to be representing Tese, which will eliminate cash payments in Zambia's public transport system in favor of a digital payment system. I was working on my thesis last year, and it had not crossed my mind that I'd be wanting to start a business. But sometimes when a topic grips you so much, you begin to see opportunities where you initially wouldn't have. And my thesis was on government responsibilities in money. It was involved in an arm of economics called monetary policy. I'm not going to dwell on that, but if you want to take a look at it, I'll send it to you after this. The topic of Tese's interest is how people will pay for things. And our minds and our gears were focused on taking into account the geographical limits and commercial context. Now, the product is in no way sophisticated. You're going to see soon. But the challenge is not a small issue. Digital payments are expanding aggressively, but not all people on the planet have a mobile phone. And at Tese, we're committed to saying that they shouldn't need one. But let's talk about the industry and the decision to focus on Zambia. You can see here, people use public transport all across Africa, which is typically comes in this small van called a combi or a minibus. And two things about this is that when you pay the bus fare, it is the smallest transaction of the day. And that means there's value in making it digital. Think about paying for something that costs 38 cents. It makes sense to have a digital way to do that. And it is also the most frequent transaction, which is helpful from a business perspective, because sometimes in business, we say we want to rely on volume. Why Zambia now? There had to be a lot of thought into this. And thanks to Laura, Stacy, Amy, all of my mentors, it wasn't just one brain. There were a lot of gears going into this. My condition going in was it had to be in Africa. But the bottom line is any foreign market involves risk. And we had to think about the political and business opportunity. Now, here's the data. I'm just going to skim through this. But the short of it was Zambia was the best market. And if we want to think more about it, it is in a fertile cluster of digital payments and for possible expansion across the borders of Zambia if we want to go somewhere else. Right now, we have a website prototype that you can see here on the right. That's my partner. His name is Will Nimoy. He's a great coder and has been a fantastic person to work with so far. And we had together a total of 10 interviews from across the border in Zimbabwe. Our product is designed largely in response to the information we gathered. And it will be a database that stores records of transactions and overlays the product on existing mobile payment services. What would matter to the customer is that the individual customer would only have to use a card with a QR code. And that way, we think we can significantly lower the costs and barriers to use in the digital payments sector. a little bit on the evolution of the problem. If you're looking at the original thesis that I'm going to share after this, I promise, it speaks about the measures against inflation. And that was my personal motivation going in, because I grew up in Zimbabwe, and in 2008, we had a hyperinflation issue that became a challenge of both personal and academic interest to me. And we conceived of Tese as a way for people to have a stable means of payments. But during this program, we pivoted, and we're no longer seeking to solve that big challenge. Rather, we looked to find whether conditions are fertile enough to implement the idea, and we have the statistics to support our position this far. What we need is the plot of the story and the characters. And our big ask is, we're not going to do this alone. In fact, we're going to attach ourselves to organizations that you do not normally see in the startup space. These are like local governments or local municipalities for product guidance, non-governmental organizations for the strategy involved. And if you can get us in touch with organizations interested in this sector of innovation, the IMF, the IFC, USAID, local municipalities in the sub-Saharan region, I think that would be awesome. For now, thank you so much for listening. And thank you, Laura. Thank you, Amy. Thank you to all the friends of Tese. It's been a pleasure working with everybody.